What's up with it? We got blue Doflamingo versus purple Luffy. Looks like purple Luffy chooses to go first. Dofi has Mihawk, Weevil, Sengoku, Jinbei, Boa, and chooses to keep going second. This is really strong. 2 Dawn turn. Get to play the Sengoku and just pass. We expect a lot of the time for the purple Luffy to go leader effect into Zoro. Purple Luffy choosing to go first, that's definitely good. In this matchup, the purple Luffy, really almost any matchup, the purple Luffy is going to want to go first. Swing 5, that's no surprise. Um, at this point, we're expecting not to see the Bon Clay. The Dofi elects to take. Yep, and there's the Zoro. Pretty standard stuff here. Would have liked to see that Perona on the 2 Dawn turn, but definitely not a bad spot. Yeah, swinging 5. Looks like we're probably going to go Jinbei Law, bounce that Zoro back to hand. This can get punished by the Luffy Taro into the Zoro if they didn't have another target in hand, but a lot of the time they probably will. Okay, just electing to take here. Could have countered with the Perona for sure. Electing to take just to get more cards in hand, more options. I could see a world where you could have countered out of that, but I think taking's probably a little bit better. Okay, we hit the nuts. We got another Jinbei here. Got 2 counters with the Sangoro, and I missed what the other card was. Yep, definitely gonna go Jinbei here. Probably should have drawn into the buggy instead here, but this is fine. That stack probably could have been optimized a little bit better, but we'll see. Oh, I guess unless we're gonna play the law. We're gonna play the law and just bounce the probably the Jinbei and the Zoro. Um, Potentially could also bounce itself in the Zoro. Um, or this law rather. That would make sense too. I'm fine with either one. We know that the Luffy is going to take probably at least one of these bodies. Depending on what they do, they might take 2. So being able to rebuild board with this Jinbei is pretty good. Okay, yeah, going 6. You always got to counter out of this. Um, Probably don't want to block 1K. It's possible you could. But then the Luffy swings at it, and you're not able to protect it. So just keeping that is fine. Um, well, actually, if you block 1K, you probably honestly. So let's think about it. If you block 1K, and then if they choose to Luffy swing into it, for 8, then you still have the 2K. You could go 2K 1K. So that's probably a misplay on the Dofi's side. Um, Either one of 2 things happens. Either you block 1K and you saved a 2K, and then they still swing 8 into 5. Or they swing the 8 into the 6 and you give them another 2-1. So you do end up giving them 4 cards from hand, but you get to keep all your bodies. This isn't bad either, though, because we only gave I think probably block 1K was correct. Not 100% sure if you have to counter out of um, the 8 if they do swing, because you can rebuild board here pretty easy. But let's say you have all 4 bodies, you could pretty reasonably go 7. So we're at what? We're at 8 Dawn. So 7, 7, 7. So that's 5 Dawn. We have 3 remaining. So I guess we go 5, 7, 7, 7. Or maybe we'd go 5, 6, 7, 7, play Perona 7. And then now we're finishing our turn with swinging. We swung a 5, a 6, a 7, a 7, a 7. And, right, because that's 5, 6, 2, 2, 4. Yeah. So that takes a lot of cards out of their hand, and we passed with 5 cards on board. What do we do here instead? Let's see how this plays out instead. This is pretty strong from the Luffy, getting to play 2 Luffy Taro. I do feel like here we definitely want to be pressuring them as much as possible. A pudding would be exceptional here, but it's not. We don't have it, which is fine. Honestly, we probably just end up going Jinbei Weavile and swinging everything else. So if we do that, we have 3 Dawn left. So we can go like 5, 5, 7. So starting with the 7 is a little weird. Even weirder that they took it. Because if we did have the pudding, they're getting rolled here. Like, I think they lose on the spot if the pudding is in hand. But this is fine. Dofi player thinking about how to swing. Okay, going. So it looks like, yeah, we're going 5, 5, 7. Or no, we're gonna go. We don't need a leader effect, so we can go 5, 6, 7. Yeah. No leader effect because we're just gonna go Jinbei Weavile. This feels like a really, really good spot for the Dofi. We know we're drawing a 2K off the Weevil. So a lot of the time, the Luffy is going to be playing another big drop. Maybe the 9 mom. Okay, so the Luffy countered out. So took 1, and then countered the rest. Super easy counter from the Dofi side. Another easy counter for sure. You just want to be trying to stay as wide as possible here. Yeah, they're going to go 8. And then if they did that, yep, they're probably swinging 8 again. That's fine. 9 mom here is super strong. Super strong from the Luffy's perspective. Because now it's pretty unlikely that we get to game as the Dofi, right? Okay, so let's see. Let's see what they go for. We could definitely... Wish we could see what's in trash. There is a Jinbei in there for sure. I think there's no Boa because it ended up here. There might be... Oh, starting with a 5. Starting with a 5. Okay, so they're going to go Sengoku, Jozu, Teach. Okay, okay. Maybe, honestly, this turn could have been spent being a little bit more aggressive. But this is probably fine too. Okay, so what do we want to grab here? So the Jozu, so we're going to have 2 spots, one of which is going to be the Teach. So we could grab the Jinbei and then play over the Teach, adding more pressure. I think I'm okay with that. Yep, get that out of there. And then, yep. Oh, no, okay, not electing to play the Jinbei. I think that's fine. The Gravity Blade is not a great draw. Really, honestly, this could have... Yeah, especially because then we also get to have the Weevil standing with the Jinbei rested. Okay, so we're swinging 5, of course. They're countering. Oh, I almost would have liked to see a counter when we swing 8 there. You do get punished by the because at this point when they play it this way, they're either playing blockers, which is fine, you have the Gravity Blade, or they're playing 9 mom, which 9 mom hurts really bad because you get this Jozu and then you can't kill. But if you dump your whole hand, you get to preserve a body. And if they go double blocker, that's fine. You'll have this swing, this swing, this swing, the gravity blade. Or you could even Sengoku. Um, and if they play the 9-drop mom, then you lose everything. You just have the teach in this. You are at 4 life too, so let's go back a little bit. So yeah, right here. No, not here. The next one. When they swing 8 here, there's only one more swing. I think you have to dump your hand here. I think you dump your hand here because the next turn, like, what is the Luffy doing? The Luffy is either going to play the 9-drop mom, which is going to take 2 cards out of their hand. They're going to have 5. They'll have 1 active. That's fine. Or they're going to play double blocker. The double blocker gets really punished by the gravity blade. And then you get to go... I don't think we know what this draw is, but that's fine. I don't know. Let me know if you guys think there's any reason to not counter there. The Sengoku. Yeah, that's a good draw too, especially if we had dumped our hand. It still gives us an opportunity to eventually... Okay, so we're starting with the Sengoku. There's no boa engrave. Otherwise, we could go like Jinbei, Gecko, Gecko grab boa, play boa, swing 7, and that's pretty strong. It either gets 2 cards out of hand or the Gum Gum that they're representing here. So what are we thinking about grabbing? Probably the Gecko, right? And we go like Jinbei, Gecko, Jinbei, Gecko. And then Gecko grabs Weevil. And then we can play over this teach. We can swing 7, and then we're representing 5 bodies. And currently they only have 5 swings. So, yep. Okay, so we just get to rebuild our board pretty cheaply here. For sure, it's just the Weevil, right? Yep. Honestly, maybe we could have just grabbed a 2K. But I don't know. Because if we leave the whole board standing here, it feels pretty strong. But we do really want to be getting a 7 swing in here. So if we had kept that body, we would have drawn the Sengoku, and then we could have... Really, I feel like this spot feels stronger than that spot. So maybe it was okay letting it die, just because we got to go so wide so fast. The only things how much done are they at? They've got 4, 9. Got 9 done. Got 9. So the only thing I feel like would be especially bad for this Dofy player would be really not much. Feels like maybe like double blocker with a Gum Gum. Like this was really strong for the Luffy with the double Luffy, double Lin Lin. Okay, starting with the 5. You just have to counter this. Probably with the Sengoku. Should be Sengoku because there are timelines where we're gonna want a pudding for sure. Honestly, double blocker, if it's double Onami specifically. Double Onami specifically would be really strong here. That's 1. And then, yeah. Oh, okay, it's not quite as bad. So, do we blade here? If we blade, we have 5 swings for 1 life. We swing, they give us 2 cards. We swing, they give us a card. And then we swing 6. And then 2 cards left. They have to be, they need 2k total. And then if they only have 1k total, they would need a 2k here. Because with Gravity Blade, swing, 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 get 3 cards. Yeah, they got 2 left. So at that point, we're really looking at them having no bricks, which we do have some insight with this Onami. That before this Onami, they didn't have any bricks. So unless this Onami drew double brick, well, I guess it, did they play double Onami or did they play one? Onami drew 2. Trash this and go. How do they trash the second card? Oh, they just played over. Okay. So the Nami trashes first. So it's very reasonable that 1 to 2. 2 max. At least 1 card in this hand could be dead, potentially. So I think you just, is it, I don't think it's ever better to spread it out, right? So if you go like 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, you swing. Okay, so they block. Maybe 7s across the board is actually just better. How many cards does it take? So they get to block 2, so they have to counter out of 2 of them, right? So they block 1, and then they can take 1. So they have to counter out of 2. So if you go 7s across the board, that's 6k total counter that you demand as the Dofi player. If you go Gravity Blade, it requires 1, 2, 3, really only 5. It requires 5 on this first hit. So 7s across the board here is actually stronger than the Gravity Blade. There's probably a really good way to do it's probably because of the blockers. You're just supposed to go 7s. The Gravity Blade is a trap here, I think. That definitely the Dofi player runs into. Going 5s, probably trying to bait a block here. Once you've gotten 2, I think this is fine. I think you have to Gravity Blade here. And this is a little overzealous. Definitely you do not swing this one. Yeah, this is a throw. Once you do this, you just lose on the spot because they block and now you only have 2 attacks. So yeah, that's a throw for sure. Yep. And then once you get to this point, you maybe swing 2. You can go 2 and then 3. You could potentially try to do a small swing here. Try to force the block and then swing big into this Luffy. Like you could maybe swing 7 or 8 and then swing big here, and then they only have 3 swings. You'd have to establish this blocker. But this is just over. The Dofi, I would say this is a good example of both players high rolling. The Luffy got to go double Taro into double Big Mom into double blocker, which is really strong for them. But of course, the Dofi players saw everything. You know, they saw the boas, they saw the geckos, they saw the Jinbeis. The Jinbeis being the big thing. So we don't know what's in the purple Luffy's hand. So maybe the sevens never would have gone through. I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to take a peek here. Let's see. So the Gum okay, let's go back. So swing 7. Oh, wait. Okay, so this actually gets interesting. So, wait. I assumed that purple Luffy was just going for game here. But I guess with 6 cards in hand and a blocker, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need the Dofi has to counter out of 2 hits, right? So if the Dofi has to counter out of 2 hits, you could, so 10, you can go 9, 9 here, so that's 3, that's 7, 11. So you can go 9, 9, 9, 9, 11, or this can be a 10. You can go 9, 9, 9, 10, 10. So they minimum have to counter out of 2 9s, right? So with 6 cards in hand, you know, this is oh man. Like if you go for it, you lose, right? Okay, let's see if they think that they can live. If they Okay, so they start with an 8 and that gets countered. So when that gets countered, you can test a 9 and you can test a 9. Once this gets countered, you can't afford any of the rest of them to get countered. And the most you can do is you can go 4, 8, 10. So 18 plus 6, 24, 29, 39 divided by 4. So you can go 9s and a 10. Okay, interesting. I'd like to know if people think that the Luffy should go for it. Let's see what they do. This is interesting that they elect not to. Okay, 9. So just trying to preserve board, make it so there's only 3 swings. Okay, so now they go for the Sanji. Okay, now they go for the Sanji, which does open them to the Gravity Blade. Here you definitely start with a 6. And then you have to go 7, 7, right? Or actually you go 5, 9. I think you go 5, 9. Because they're representing the Gum. If you go 5 and they take, then you can go 9. And if they Gum, they have to draw a counter, which they almost always do. But at this point, there's no other play. You're always dying next turn, 100% of the time. So, yeah, I think you go 5 and then 9. And you put them on... the 5/9 loses to any counter card though. Maybe you just go 7/7. This is there's a lot of interesting spots in this game, honestly. This was a good one. Yeah, and at this point it's just over. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Great game, honestly. I'd love to hear in the comments if anyone has any thoughtful analysis from either perspective. Yeah. Have a great day.